Hello, everyone. It's Jonathan Shuffield coming back with another episode of Can We Talk? Thank you so much to everyone who watched the last episode. I get questions from people a lot. I've been in entertainment for a couple decades and I've been in radio and stuff for about 7 years. So I'll end up getting questions, especially now when we're all a little more isolated than would like to be. And now that it's prolonging, there's even more and even more time that we have to spend with ourselves. And I think we're at a point in our culture where that doesn't happen all the time. So this can get interesting. We talked last time about how to get through suggestions to give you for lists and things to do that will help keep you not as fearful. But I wanted to talk about something, I had mentioned it in the last one, negotiating with your brain. One of the things, the most fascinating things about people that I find is the way the mind works. There is so much that we still don't understand. We know that it is a very busy organ with lots of synapses and lots of electrical impulses, and it manages not only the nervous system but our bodies overall. The brain is powerful, and what I have always found fascinating is that I feel like the brain's one function is to protect us at all costs. I see it a lot with people who've gone through trauma in their lives, and even childhood trauma. The brain can do such crazy things as partitioning itself off and deciding that this part of what happened, I'm not going to let you remember. I'm going to let you know so much that you are aware of it, but I'm going to take away the parts that are too much for you to handle. The brain has decided for you, for its person to survive, um, it's going to do this thing. A lot of people have repressed memories, no memories. Um, there are tons of things. I think back to a time when I was in a car accident at 17 and I almost died, and I realized if you look at your brain remembers things in a very almost abstract way, in a very artistic way at times. I don't remember all the real details of what I went through, and I think that is my brain's way of saying, listen, that's not going to do you a lot of good. Um, there's still some trauma you need to deal with, but I'm going to protect you from as much of it as I can. The brain also, I mean, it's been doing this since primitive times. It wants to use the most efficient, the quickest way to get you from A to B that it can possibly do. This is this amazing computer processor. I know I talk about it as if it's not even part of us. It is, but there are so many layers that we don't understand yet that it is almost like it's another thing inside of us, which is why I allude to this negotiating with your brain. I think right now a lot of people are in fear mode and your brain automatically goes to fear mode. Why is this? Because fear is the primary, most useful tool because it makes it easy to control something, is to make them fearful. A lot of people who had abusive childhoods think of fear was a way to keep you safe. It made you hyper alert of things around you. It helped you just your awareness to grow because it needed it. The problem is fear does work quick and do those things, but it also steals so much stuff from ourselves. And so I wanted us to kind of take this moment. I mean, we're heading into week 3 here in California. The fear is real as things escalate, as we hear that the US has more cases than anyone. We're now number one, which is not what we want to be number one in. Um, California is getting hit harder this week than it has, um, and they don't expect that to change. So the fear can get to us. And so we have to find a way to function outside of that fear, to allow our brains to understand that fear is not helpful here, that fear, it keeps us reactive, and currently we need to be the other parts of the brain, very thoughtful. We need to look at nuances. And that's not easy, especially when the go-to is to keep us afraid. So therefore, what it does to me, I'll tell you, whenever I am super fearful, I freeze. It's like someone hit a pause button on the TV and I don't move, and I'm afraid to make any decisions. And I understand that as the brain is just trying to keep me in place because it's safer there. The problem is my life will slowly erode if I operate as if every minute is the last minute. And so I've had to struggle with this myself. And so as the notes have come in and the text messages have come in and they want to talk about being afraid, and a lot of people who have had a traumatic, past event in their lives, maybe they have some PTSD. Um, so fear becomes even more of the norm. Um, that that is not how everybody reacts, but it is a big one, and I can speak to that. Um, and so I just want to share with you a little of what I do to get out of the fear mindset, to talk to my brain, to connect to my brain on a different level, and then try to get us more on a page where life isn't about just merely surviving, and life is about how can I, in this moment with these set of circumstances, how can I thrive here? Part of that is perspective. Fear has one perspective. Fear has danger, Will Robinson. I need you to sit still and not let anything bad happen. So just stay there. That's not the perspective that's going to help you. It also doesn't get you into that can run you down roads of depression. It can run you down roads of self-destructive behavior. We talked about that in the last video. That even though it seems like life is not normal and never will be, it doesn't mean you mess up your sleeping habits. It doesn't mean you drink alcohol all day long. It doesn't mean you eat everything in sight, because there are underlying health problems that many people have, and that is not helping you, because there will be a day when we are normal again and there are going to be consequences. It's not like we're at the end of the road, so you might as well do anything you want because you're going to be dead. That's not what this is, and we can't live in that mindset. So let me tell you, your brain is probably the strongest um, advocate for you that there ever is. But it's also super strong. And when it learns a pattern, it really doesn't want to unlearn that pattern. Um, but if you're someone like me, you need to use your stubbornness to your benefit. You need to start training your brain. Your brain can learn new things up until you're 112, but you have to be in the process of teaching your brain that you want to learn and you want to do something different. I want to step outside of fear because I live there too much. And in this situation in our world, I live there on a constant basis, and that can't be good for us. And it isn't going to be sufficient to help us get through this. In California, especially in Los Angeles, Garcetti, who's our mayor, is talking about probably not raising our restrictions until May, because we have we have not seen a reduction in cases. We've only seen an increase. Well, that's a long ways to go. So instead of wallowing in that, I go to work 4 days a week now because I'm part of essential services. So I work in an airport. That is still considered essential. Some people are still getting home to families. Um, I have to be able to function and battle this idea that I'm in a highly um, uh, an environment that has a lot of exposure to things, and I have no control over that, nor do I even know when it's there. So let me tell you some things that I do every day just to keep myself not spiraling out of control. Because if you know me, I can spiral better than anyone. I'm not saying drama queen, but I'm not saying drama queen. So let me tell you, positive thinking is one of the best things. And I get it. If you are a person who tends to be more negative. You're probably rolling your eyes at this positive thinking. But I'm telling you, as a coping mechanism in your toolbox, it's good to have. It's not a Pollyanna attitude. It's not believing in things that have no proof. It's just teaching your brain that maybe its first reaction should not be to the negative. Maybe there's a way to think over your positive. But I'll tell you, as if the brain is a muscle, you have to build that. And so the way I do that is every morning when I wake up, we've talked about my list of gratitude, my checking in with people I love. Those are important things. But I spend 10 minutes to myself in the mornings and I think about positive things. I think about a future. I think about when this is over. I just think about good things. 10 minutes, and I make it a hard 10. Now, the goal is that this is just the beginning, but I can convince my brain not to be like, shut up, you're annoying me. If I say just 10 minutes, I want to do this. But I'll tell you this, every day you do it, it gets easier. And then in a couple weeks, you're looking at, okay, maybe I'll do 15 minutes a day until that becomes your automatic response, which is what you want in this time, especially to battle that fear, is to do that positive thinking. I talked about negotiating with your brain while you're building this um, battlement against fear at this time. I told you last time how I had just moved and the boxes just stay there. And I don't know what to do with them. And I'm afraid to unpack them because what if, I need them packed because I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to leave again. I can't afford my rent. All the fear scenarios that come into play. What I what it seems like my brain is willing to do, I'm telling you, it is like it's another, and if it helps to think of it as if it's another person that loves you, but has a different way of thinking, teenagers, do you hear me? Sound like your parents? Yeah, is I negotiate with my brain. So how I do that is I made a deal. I unpacked necessities. I said, I love hats. I mean, listen, this is a casual day for me. I'm not wearing my tie. I have like 20 fedoras. I'm wearing my baseball cap. Damn sexy. Um, Shout out to my brother on this. Um, I decided to hang up my hats because that's what I do. I hang them on the wall so I can grab one every day if I want it. So I negotiate with my brain. Okay, brain, this is what I'm thinking. I don't think I can handle unpacking all the boxes and pretending that life is going to be amazing and normal. What I can handle is what if I unpack some of the necessities and then what if I neatly put those boxes against a wall so that they still allow me living space so it's not chaos. Fear lives in chaos, fear thrives in chaos. What if I do that? Is that going to be enough? And to be honest with you, I was able to do it and it wasn't a battle the whole time, which any of us who live through fear like this, you know what I'm talking about. Little things in your life that you're afraid just to look at right now because everything's crazy. Make an agreement with yourself. Care about yourself. Know that, okay, this is what I can handle, and brain, this is what I'd like an agreement with you on. So I negotiate with my brain. It doesn't have to happen every day. There's always not a situation where I need to, but they do come up as the fear creeps back in, and my brain's like, okay, listen, I want you to stay healthy, so I'm gonna freak you out with this. That's an opportunity for me to go, okay, I need to stop. I need to look at this, and I need to decide what is something that's gonna move me forward, push my brain forward, but isn't going to freak my brain out, isn't going to freak me out in the process. That can happen once, twice, 4 times a week. It all depends on what level you're at in this situation. But I highly recommend trying it. All of these steps I'm giving you, just try it. Be open minded for a week for me and just see if it helps at all. I know that I don't know everything, but it's helped me, and I am the king of the basket cases normally. So I want to know if it can help you. The final thing I want to tell you that you need to do for your brain is to get your brain whatever it needs. Have you ever noticed I'll go to work, and even though I'm on restricted hours, I could work 4 hours, and by the time I come home, I am exhausted. There's stress, there's fear all around me, I'm nervous, I have some anxiety. I come home and I'm beat. Well, what's the worst time to make decisions? When you are at a lack, if you don't have enough rest and you're exhausted, if you're starving, never go shopping. Anything that has your body at a lack is not the greatest time to make healthy decisions. So you need to remember that your brain needs to be cared for. As much as your brain wants to care for you and protect you at all costs, you need to do your best to support and protect your brain. That means water, water, water. Your brain is made up mostly of water. Uh, Hydration to the body is so very helpful. You need to rest, rest, rest. You need to make sure uh, that you are getting enough sleep and that you are feeling. Meditation helps keep that sleep calm. You need to give your brain those things and do something for your brain. For me, it's creativity. I need to write. I need to do something that makes my brain feel like, ah, this is the higher functions that I can do, not just the base functions of, are you afraid enough? So that I can protect you. Take care of your brain. Those are three very easy things, but I'm telling you, in this time when we have no certainty, we could go a little mad, to be honest. And I've talked to so many of you, and I just want to give you some of the tools that I use that help me get through it. And I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't mean every day is easy. But on those days that aren't easy, I remember to take care of my brain. I cut myself some slack. I let myself breathe and I go, okay, well, today is I want to do these things for me. I want to watch a weird show. Any of those things. Do that, but take care of your brain. Get the water out. Remember that every investment you make in this idea that you're not going to be afraid all the time just helps you grow and make you feel better. Um, what I wish for anyone coming from a person who has lived a lot of his life in fear, um, and that comes from a lot of things. That comes from a traumatic childhood. Not with my family, I love my family, but other things that happened to me as a child. It comes from a car accident. Comes from other things that gave me PTSD. Um, I understand what fear is, and I understand what it's like to just be ruled by that. I don't want that for anybody that I know. I don't want that for anybody ever. Uh, and so, if I can be helpful in this time, that's what I want to do. So, you got me looking cash today. My lighting needs to be brighter. Uh, but I'm coming to you authentically, and I hope any of those tips helped. So I love you all so much. Um, until next time, there'll be more. Don't you worry. And you've been warned. Uh, we'll talk again. Okay, bye, guys.